I'm Jo, and this evening you're coming with me on a trip to Georgia. So, a few years ago, when I was living in Moscow, my Russian friends introduced me to some food that was so delicious that I had to go and visit the country. This is a photograph of my favorite one. It's called Achuruli Khachapuri. Khachapuri is a kind of Georgian bread, and this one has melted cheese and runny egg in it. And it's the reason I visited Georgia, along with this delicious dish, which is called Lobio, which is a yummy vegetarian dish made of red kidney beans. Georgia is a country that's kind of in Asia and in Europe. It's next to Turkey and Azerbaijan and Russia. They speak the Georgian language, but also a lot of Russian. I flew into the capital city, Tbilisi, and my first stop was to visit the Royal Sulphur Baths. This is a picture of the roofs of the baths. Inside, there are some amazing bathhouses with different designs and decorations. This is one of the more basic bathhouses. Water is all natural and full of sulphur from the hot springs, and it's very healthy for you to bathe in. The city was apparently based around the hot water. This is a bird's eye view of Old Tbilisi. Down here, you can see the roofs of the sulphur baths. Coming round, you can see the river that flows through the centre of the city. And here is the Narikala fortress, which looms over the whole city, and the Juma Mosque. This is a photograph of the Juma Mosque, which is quite special. There's only a minority of people in the country, Georgia, who are Muslim, and there used to just be 2 mosques in Tbilisi. During communist times, one of them was knocked down. So then the Sunni and the Shiite Muslims decided they'd all worship together in this one, and they'd welcome each other in prayer. They also welcomed me into the mosque. I don't speak any Georgian, and my Russian is very basic, but I was welcomed in, and I got the pleasure of seeing these incredible geometric designs and chatting to some really friendly people. Up the hill from the mosque, along a long ridge which follows the back of Old Tbilisi, is a statue called Mother of Georgia. She is 20 meters high, and she stands guard over the city. I think she is a very majestic looking woman. She looks very strong and powerful. From Tbilisi, I went on a couple of day trips. My first day trip from Tbilisi was to the town of Mchgeta. I'm not sure I pronounce it correctly. It used to be the capital. You can see here how the rivers converge. I went to the Javari Monastery. I visited the Javari Monastery, which is a 6th century building perched on top of a hill with amazing views. Outside the monastery, there were lots of people selling Georgian souvenirs and some really cool Soviet cars. These hats, you can't really see them here. They're the traditional Georgian hat. But one of my favourite things, as you might be able to tell, was the old Soviet-style cars. After the monastery, we went to the beautiful cathedral, where we were lucky enough to see a wedding. It's an Orthodox cathedral, and this was the Orthodox priest. The cathedral was stunning with beautiful light and incredible murals all over the walls. And we watched the wedding for a while, but apparently they have to stand for hours and hours as the priest is speaking, all in this really beautiful cathedral. Another day trip that I did from Tbilisi was to the Uplisike cut rock cave city, which was built between 600 BC and 1100 AD. The ancient city was cut into these rocks by people. This is one of the rock dwellings, and there are plenty of them as you walk around exploring. I went to Uplisike on a really beautiful day with blue skies, just like this. I loved looking at the rock, which had all the different buildings cut into it. But also, I sat on the edge and ate an apple and looked out at these views across the valley and the river. For the second part of the trip, we drove north towards the Caucasus Mountains to a resort called Godauri for skiing. The views along the roadside were absolutely stunning, and I started to understand that I was in a part of the world that I'd never been to before. For example, Yerevan is the capital of Armenia. Tehran is the capital of Iran. I've never been anywhere with signposts to those places. This is the Russian-Georgian Friendship Monument, which is along the roadside with behind that is a very steep mountain, very sheer drop. And it's got beautiful murals, and I love the idea that it's a friendship monument. It really stands out in the middle of the mountains. From the ski resort, I also did a hike. I went up to the Gegeti Trinity Church. This was at the beginning of my trail. As usual, I got slightly lost, but when I got to the top, I had this incredible view. And I got to see this incredibly stunning monastery sitting on the top of a mountain, surrounded by mountains, towering over the valley below. We went to the ski resort of Gudauri. Obviously, it doesn't look like a ski resort now because it's green, but when we were there, it was March and it was covered in snow. I hadn't been skiing for years before this, and my two friends knew that I hadn't been skiing, but they took me to the very top of a black run. My first day, my first morning skiing, they took me to the top of a black run. Look at their faces and look at mine. I slid down a lot of the run on my bottom. It was terrifying, but after that I got better again. And then I found a paragliding place. These are people who run off the edge of a mountain with a chute attached to their backs and whiz around in the air. And I decided that I would like to try this. I did a tandem paraglide jump. This is me running with my instructor. If you have a look here at this little black spot, that's my shoe. He trod on it and it fell off, and I went all the way down the mountain without it. This is me with my instructor behind me, just waiting for the pair in front of us to leave. And then we had to run as fast as we could down to the edge. We didn't even have to jump. Suddenly, we were in the air. For some reason, I wasn't scared at all. I think I really trusted the instructor, and it just felt so beautiful. It was really peaceful. There was no real sound of the wind, and I loved the views. Look at those mountains. Those are the Caucasus. Yes, I feel like I'm flying. So during our flight, one of my instructor's friends wanted us to film him doing a free fall. So we did film him. And he did the free fall. He fell a long way just before opening up his chute and landing very safely. It's obviously a man who likes adrenaline a bit more than me. So to finish up, I'd like to show you my very safe landing. I managed to land hopping on just one foot without even putting my sock in the snow. Then I sat down very gently and waited for the instructor's friends to bring me down my boot from the top of the mountain. So I hope that you have enjoyed Georgia and my paragliding experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.